Welcome to M Squared TechCast.
Hey, it's Mike Brennan.
And Matt Roush.
And we have with us a repeat offender, and Anthony Sabatella, who is the owner of THC 123, which is, well, I'll let you explain. It's HR, it's back office stuff. It's a variety of things, right?
Yeah, what I tell people is we are all professional services outside of your real estate agent, your lawyer, your CPA. So we really handle all outsourced HR
insurance
needs.
as well.
Insurance as
Yeah, you got
well.
all that
Everything, everything a personnel department would do, more or less, an HR
Yeah,
department.
exactly. Think of
accounting.
us as a third-party HR department for your cannabis-based business.
Okay.
And soon to be a parent.
Yep, that's for sure.
He won't disclose the name of the child that Caitlin is carrying for him here, but I'm curious. Are you going to share that after the baby is born? Then is that?
Yeah. We'll let the name come out then.
Oh, okay.
But, maybe do you want to know it on the show? Maybe I'll release.
You could disclose it. You have this big audience.
We do.
Everyone's asking you, what are you going to call the baby?
Yup, Mila Jane.
Oh, how nice.
We have
nice
April 2020 baby coming, so a 420 baby.
Appropriate, a 420 baby for a 420 kind of guy.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have planned it better.
Life imitating art.
Yeah. So the other thing now is, I understand you're in the CIA.
I am the good CIA, not the bad CIA.
Okay, tell us all about that.
Yep. Well, the CIA is short for the Cannabis Intelligence Alliance. It's an alliance of some industry professionals who we believe have gathered together for the greater common good of the industry. Also, that's also tied to the industry as a whole. Micro, macro, but also more on a globalization scale as well. Because you take a look at all of these big businesses out here. You have Google, you have Amazon. They're all tied to data. So cannabis being nascent in industry is relatively new. So, all of us coming together for the greater amount of good, and collecting and analyzing and putting together that data points to help the industry grow. That's what we're here for.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about You Would Be the Man to Know. And I have your Facebook feed, and as a disclosure, you're one of the sponsors of the Michigan Marijuana Report, which I edit, and then Dan Keelan is the publisher. So you're the guy that I see all the time posting jobs. What are the hot jobs right now in the cannabis business space?
Hot jobs, experience.
Yeah, that's the tough part, right?
Number one. Also, it all depends which segment you're in. Obviously, the most entry level job and everyone's really looking for is here. How do I become a bud tender? That's a great place to start. What a bud tender does, for those who don't know, they're the ones who kind of at the first lines when a patient comes in. They'll be gathering their ailments and trying to direct which bud to help them with their needs.
Okay. And what is it typically? What sort of pay range would something like that be?
It all depends on kind of the geographical location that you're in. I would say low end $10. I would say the majority range between $13 and $15 an hour, though.
Well, not bad for starting, salary, getting some experience, that sort of thing.
That's more or less an entry level position in that industry, right?
I would say, I would say so.
Okay.
Taking a look at cannabis industry as a whole, as compared to general industry, I'd say the pay range is roughly between 11 to 13% higher. But again, that's all based on which geographical location you're in.
And then I've seen you have postings up there for someone who would actually manage a grow facility, which would take a lot of experience, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting. I compare my job to finding a needle, not in a haystack, but a needle in a haystack full of needles, because this experience that everyone's looking for, outside of the tooth fairy having it, it's very limited, especially in Michigan. Seeing that commercial cannabis just came around here, within the last couple years. A lot of people are looking to some of our partners out west, California, Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and having some of those industry members come over and help build up the industry here in Michigan.
Well, you have multi-state operators that are essentially doing that right now, right?
Absolutely. It's going to take some time. I tell everybody experience in this industry is like dog years currently. That's going to go away soon. But I don't want people to get, down or don't feel that there's an opportunity for them, even if you don't have experience already, because truthfully there is. What I tell people, hey, take a look at some of these online courses that Green Culture Ed, another partner, Leaf Medic, may offer. They do these kind of dispensary trainings, online video platforms, give you a quiz. And, truthfully, if you're looking apples to apples against applicants and I see an applicant with this kind of certification against somebody who doesn't, I mean, that may be the differentiator when it comes down to it.
So these online courses, you can get a certificate then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I know Green Culture Ed was actually, last time I talked to Evan out there, they're based in Colorado, but he was actually writing part of the OSHA guidelines for cannabis-based businesses in Washington for the state.
Okay. And then what about the mid-level jobs? Between managing a grow facility, being a bud tender, are there some mid-level jobs?
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. Again, I would say it's all based on the licensee type, whether you're in the cultivation, whether you're in the processing or the provisioning centers, safety compliance and secure transporters. Mid-level jobs, if we take a look still at the provisioning center as an example, I'd look at assistant managers. You got your general managers, simple as a retail environment, just the product and the commodity is cannabis, not clothes or a car dealership or anything like that. So we're just discussing a different product.
Yeah, okay. So we had Jamie Lowell and Rick Thompson on the show earlier talking about what's going to happen this year. Why don't you weigh in on that? What do you think? How do you see this all playing out?
How do you want me to take it? Do you want me to put my opportunist glasses on, or do you want to put my cynical glasses on?
Whatever you want to do.
Let's have a little of both.
Good news, bad news kind of thing.
We'll start with the good news. Opportunity's still here. I still think it's day one, $1 here in cannabis. I don't think any ship has sailed, so to speak, but if you haven't at least started trying to get your ducks in a row, it may be soon. It may be that you want to start that relatively soon. We still have a lot of opportunity with the marijuana micro businesses, which I haven't seen fully take off. We are also
why don't you define those?
The Matt's a newbie here.
Micro businesses, okay. Yeah. It is part of the MRTMA, which is the new recreational law and the adult use law in Michigan. It allows a company to do all three verticals. They will be allowed to cultivate 150 plants. They'll be able to process those plants into oils and any other type of products, and they'll also be able to provision those all on one site. So they'll be able to grow up to 150 plants.
Be a great thing for your Dearborn backyard, man. I'm thinking.
All right.
Yeah, I think if you go and put a one of the
I'll look into a greenhouse right away.
Go put a consumption lounge next door there too, and I think you got a nice little business model.
Yeah, that's coming.
Right.
That's coming. It's the first ones have now been licensed around the country.
If you want my 2 pennies, I would say if you're looking at the micro business, have that adjacent lot, have that adjacent address, and have a consumption lounge on it. I mean, that's the closest you're going to get to an Amsterdam club currently underneath the Michigan guidelines.
Well, it sounds like a microbrewery, too.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but there has to be a difference of the provisioning center and the consumption lounge. You can't purchase in the consumption lounge, but you could alternatively purchase it next door if there's a
and then walk to the consumption lounge and consume it.
Yes.
Okay. That's because I have been to Amsterdam and I just checked out the cafes only on a purely repertorial kind of basis.
Just a little research.
And they have a nice counter there, and you pick out what you want, and you sit in the back, or actually they kind of frown on you taking it on the street. They want you to be cool about it. So. But I think eventually that's what we're going to see here. So.
Yeah, nope, it's coming. So, I would say if you're not a multimillionaire already or anything like that, take a look at the micro business. You have the ability to really control the product through its entire life process and really, be able to have a true craft cannabis grow there instead of some of the commercial alternatives that we see.
But even 150 plants, if you're growing it indoors, you have to have all the security and lighting and watering, and you're talking $1 million.
You got upfront costs. Yeah, I would say I would say all depending on the real estate pricing, you can get it done for under $1 million, but I'd like to have 7 figures to be safe.
Because it never goes as fast as you think, and it always costs more than you think.
Well, I mean, you can look at the industry right now.
I was going to say you've only owned your own business for 21 years now, so you speak from experience.
More
on that.
Expensive than what you think.
And takes longer.
God dang, yeah.
I mean, we thought we were going to have licensees like 2 Aprils ago. We saw how that rollout went. So, yeah.
But those do strike me as the equivalent of a small brewery where you try a couple things and then fill up your growler on the way out the door with the one that you like the best. That kind of thing.
And as our able-bodied technician here, Dave Phillips, can attest to, owning a brewery is not a minor, inexpensive thing either. No. Dave and Bob owned a brewery for a while, and muy dinero, right?
It was not pretty. The roasted Brussels sprouts were awesome, though. I got to tell you, the food was really good at that place. So well. Okay.
Yeah, we all take these stabs at things, and sometimes they just don't work out. But I think this is one of those businesses that is going to offer a lot of opportunity for a lot of entrepreneurs. But again, it's not a business if you can't go into it with $100,000 and expect to get anywhere. It's really serious money,
Well, yeah, that's me putting on my.
That's the cynical glass
part of it.
Yeah,
my cynical glasses piece is.
Okay.
I think 2020 may be maybe the time that the herd thins a little bit. Unfortunately, this industry did not get off on the ground running. And unfortunately, that hurt a lot of the small and medium-sized business owners who were looking to utilize, a certain amount of cash, but they were in line to go get their license for months, and that cash dried up because they had to go pay on an empty building that they couldn't use. And now they don't reach qualification based on the
cash you need,
requirements, and it's to no fault of their own. That's where, unfortunately, cash is king. But being able to produce craft cannabis is going to be the biggest differentiator at the end of the day. The grower is going to hold the keys in this industry.
The real shame is the most experienced people in this business are the ones that have the felony busts and may not be able to participate in the business. That kind of needs to change, right?
I agree. I mean, we see what Illinois did when they released their adult use law. I mean, we had different House bills. I think 6227 was looking to have expungement from Michigan. I think that just kind of died on the floor.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's election year. Who knows what's going to happen this year?
Yeah. We saw what happened on the midterm elections with the cannabis as part of the kind of their campaign trail. So we'll see.
I think it helped get a few Democrats elected in 2018.
I agree.
Yeah,
and I don't think anything. I mean, did cannabis suffer any major electoral defeats in the last couple cycles?
I think we won 9 out of 10 of cannabis.
That's what I think.
I think it was 9 out of 10, and we had the largest midterm election turnout since 57 or 56.
Yeah. Well, we got about a minute left, so this is where you can talk a little bit more about THC 123.
If you're a cannabis-based business looking for outsourced HR help, also tied to data security, please reach out to thc123.com. If you are looking for a job here in the marijuana industry or have a position you need to fill, feel free to use our free online job board at MyCannaJobs.com. And then lastly, if you are interested in any of those micro business setups or consumption lounges that I mentioned before, I am also part of a joint venture called Marijuana Micro Businesses that can help out with all of your outsourced needs there. And that website is marijuanamicrobusinesses.com.